How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? So, news. It's official! No Nintendo console had lasted as long as Switch without being replaced. The Nintendo Switch has now officially had the longest lifespan of any Nintendo home console pre-successor. Okay. Since its worldwide launch on March 3rd, 2017, 2,687 days have passed without the arrival of a successor console, meaning Switch's lifespan has officially beaten Nintendo's previous longest-lasting console, the Famicom. 2,686 days! Really? This is 1 day older and they're making a big deal out of that? Assuming the successor to Nintendo Switch doesn't launch before March 1st, 2025, that seems most likely, to be honest with you. Switch could go more than 2,920 days without the launch of newer hardware. So yeah, apparently, I didn't even think of this, but it's pretty, what's Switch running on, 7 years now? It's been 7 years, going on 8 or something like that, where the Nintendo Switch has been pretty much dominant, you know, one of the most dominant handheld devices ever like that. I know some people some people argue, oh, it's not really a console, it's a handheld. Whatever, you know, play it how you want to play it. Play it in TV mode, play it in handheld mode. It's called having options. You should enjoy them. And even though most people's opinions of the Switch have changed over the years. I mean, the hardcore Nintendo fans think it's still the greatest thing ever. Regular Nintendo fans are ready to move on and want new hardware and just straight up stop playing it. And then you got the Wii U, hardcore Wii U fans who swear this thing was not as good as the Wii U and complain about how the Wii U was better and stuff like that. There are people still going on about that, but whatever. The point is, it's been pretty, it has been around for like a pretty long time. I remember when this thing was first announced, I don't think any of us, even most of us who were like still like kind of like the hardcore Nintendo fanboys, didn't really think that the console or device or whatever you want to call it would actually last this long. I mean, I know a lot of YouTube channels who were just salivating the fact that this thing, they swore up and down it was going to be dead on arrival. They knew it was going to just cause Nintendo to fall flat on their face, and it was going to cause Nintendo to go third party. This is it. Nintendo's going to fail the Switch, and they're going to go third party. People are still holding on to that dream. And I feel like these people had like a 5-year plan where every time like a system, every time the system faced a failure, they would just make like a 4-hour podcast on stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there haven't been some L's with this console. You know, first of all, yes, it did come with a lot of games. Most of them were new. A lot of them were like just releases from the Wii U, but let's face it, because the Wii U failed so miserably that a lot of these games got and deserved kind of a second chance. I mean, considering the fact that this thing is, you know what, I don't know how many units it sold at this point. I really don't keep it that. But I know, like, the Wii U, it sold, like, what, 13 million? I think it sold a little less or slightly more than the Dreamcast or something like that. It did not do well. And a lot of people like to complain that a lot of the features on the Wii U didn't come to the Switch. But, you know, did any of that save the Wii U? I mean, yes, the Wii U had it had Miiverse, it had all these fun little things, but did anybody really care? It didn't really do much for Nintendo at the time. I mean, it had a bunch of neat features, but it didn't save the console. You know what saved the Switch? The fact that it fucking had games. I've had this conversation before. People may agree with me, people don't, but the fact is, the reason why the Switch was a bit more successful is because it actually brought games. Whether they were new, whether they were re-releases, remasters, whatever. Hell, even a lot more third-party games came to this system than you would have found on the Wii U. The Wii U was like I remember all that time, and I made a video about this a while back, where every time a game didn't come to the Wii U, everybody would be like, the game's not coming to the Wii U, and they just, oh, good, it's not going to the Wii U. We're glad this game's not going to the Wii U. Fuck the Wii U. Yeah, we're glad it's failing. Blah, 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 blah. And like I said, I'm not saying in the eyes of some people, maybe the Switch isn't that much of a success. Like, oh, the Switch sucks, it's underpowered, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I'll give you that, but it's still doing better than some of the other stuff right now. And, you know, I thought, here I was thinking, oh, then the, you know, the Steam Deck comes out, and everybody's like, oh, the Switch is dead. It's gonna be the Switch killer, ha ha ha. And, like, the Nintendo Switch is still selling. But my theory on that is because for the Steam Deck, as far as I know, and if I'm wrong about this, let me know, I don't think you can buy Steam Deck in stores. There are other devices like the Steam Deck that you can actually buy in stores. You go to like Best Buy or whatever. They got the Orog, whatever it's called. There are other handheld devices similar to the Switch that do what the Switch does and do what the Steam Deck does. But Steam Deck, for as far as I know, like I said, if I'm wrong, let me know. I really don't think it's sold in stores at all. I think you have to go to the Steam website to buy one. But if I'm wrong about that, I apologize, because I'm not, like I said, I don't see this thing like in any stores, the Steam Deck being sold in any stores. As far as I know, you can only buy it online. But anyway, yes, Nintendo has been the longest console, and it says without being replaced. Before we get to that, is like, yes, the Nintendo ran a bit longer after the release of the Super Nintendo, but you see, I think what they're saying is the Super Nintendo came out, the games were still coming to the NES at the time. The 64 came out, and games were still coming to the SNES at the time. I think once they hit GameCube or something like that, they stopped making games for that. So I don't know. Like, I think it might have been different at the time. It kind of changed a bit, I believe. You know, once Nintendo went to GameCube, as far as I know, it was GameCube only. Maybe they had a few stragglers on the Switch. I don't know. My memory is kind of foggy on that. I could be wrong. Who knows? But anyway, so congratulations for the Switch, I guess, for being the longest Nintendo console that exists without its predecessor coming out. And it makes me wonder, if it does come out, if the Switch 2 does come out, will games still be coming out for the Switch? I mean, I would imagine that the Switch 2 will be backwards compatible, but like I said, sometimes, even with the Switch, Nintendo took some L's, and no backwards compatibility on the Switch 2 could be one of those L's. Time, well, we'll find out eventually. But anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time.